Hey all, it's Natalie, and it's time for another Technique Tuesday. And I think a couple of the prior videos for this month talked about different ways to use negative space, which is our technique for the month, on your page using maybe cut files or die cuts or something. So I decided to do a different take and talk about negative space in photos, because we all need photos to do our hobby of scrapbooking, right? And so I have made it I've kind of trained myself specifically on trips and on vacations to take photos using my iPhone on like the fisheye lens or the 0.5 lens. So you get like a really wide shot. Or to just frame my landscape shots to where you get a huge expanse of sky and ground or whatever we're looking at, so that I have negative space in my photo, knowing that I intend to use that in my scrapbooking. So I'm going to show you a few examples of how I have done that in some of my crafting, and then we're gonna put a page together. And one good thing about these, besides the fact that they're striking and they're beautiful, and a really good way to highlight a beautiful photo, especially on like a trip or something like that, but they're also a really great way to get a scrapbook page done quickly, because the photo is the full page usually, and so it's going to speak for itself, and you just need to add a little bit of embellishment into that negative space to make it a scrapbook page and add it to your album. So we're going to start with this one. Super simple, but we had just gotten our Jeep and we went somewhere where you could drive it on the beach, which was really cool. So I had the kids stick their heads out of the top, and actually my husband's in there too, but it's kind of dark. That's one thing about the fisheye lens or the faraway lens, is that the lighting can be a little bit off. If you have an iPhone, they're really good about adjusting the lighting really well on a normal photo, but when you do that pullback lens, then it doesn't always get the details right here. So it's really good for a big area, like a landscape or something. But I love the way this one turned out. And I knew, and I mean, I almost always take my photos in the portrait mode, like not the portrait setting, but like the orientation more than landscape. But sometimes I do take them in landscape, of course, knowing how I am kind of going to incorporate them into my scrapbook. But in this one, I knew that I like to do a 6x8 or like a traveler's notebook, because that's what you'll see a lot of today. And so I know that I need them in the portrait orientation. So I take it like that. And I knew that I just have up here sky. There wasn't even clouds in the sky, so I'm not covering anything up. Plop a fun foam sticker on there, and it's a page. A lot of times I add a little page turner, but that's how I use the negative space there. In a similar vein, I like to do this very often by taking one of my favorites, usually an ocean shot or just something like this, and using it as my title page. And at this point, I think this was the time I was doing the 100-day project, and I don't even think I finished it, but I did get pretty far. I did quite a few days, but I was taking a view of the day, and I was taking of my view looking down at my feet, wherever my feet happened to be. And so my feet were at the beach this day. And so I waited for a wave to come in, I took a photo, and then I used that negative space of the photo that, you have the beautiful water and you had the sand here. So I put the title of my album in the sand, and then I added a little bit of stitching, and I added a little turn touch there, so you're not really putting your fingers on the photo when you're turning the page. And again, super quick and easy, but very striking, and a very good way to start off an album. Let's see here. I'm running out of places to put my album. So I did the same thing here. Very similar, but a very different picture. So I have the mountains. This is the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. I have a turn tab here, and then I use it as my title page. I framed the photo. I mean, it's a very beautiful photo, and you can easily put it in your album as is, but it has a little bit of negative space. It has something where you have an area you can embellish that is not going to take away from the photo. It's just on the water. There was nothing in the water to look at. So placing my title right there in that negative space brings the page together very much like a scrapbook. You know, very, what's the word? Not like campy. Is that the word? So let's see here. I have one. I think I made this one maybe for a Technique Tuesday a long time ago. Again with the feet. I'm telling you, I do a lot of feet photos. But in this one, we were at a garden. And so here I am. And I was like, oh, I really love this ivy. And so not a lot going on though in the ivy. And so I took the opportunity to take another photo of a flower from the garden. And I made it into a little interactive element. So I even put a little bit of journaling in there. And you can turn and flip it and stamped a bee. And so I filled the negative space of this photo with an interactive element, including another photo and journaling. So that's really fun too. There's so many different things that you can do. And when people do mini albums especially, they give really good examples of these a lot online. So those were all pretty much, oh, I'm so sorry. Those are all pretty much traveler's notebooks. But now this one is 8x8. I have a few 8x8 albums, but in this one, it's a family photo of us. Again, you know, we're over here. We have the beautiful water behind us, which is nice, but there was empty space, a negative space, if you will, and it took nothing away from the photo to make a little embellishment cluster. So I just put our little title up there. I also have another one in this album, another example. And again, I think I made this one for another Technique Tuesday. But this one is the boys playing with their castle. And I have the full photo over here. I didn't do anything with a negative space other than just a little turn tab. But over on this side, the boys are blurred out. I did a portrait mode on this one. And then the castle is in the foreground. And so, you know, we're not taking away anything by just covering up a little bit of the sand castle because, you know, it's already over here, but it's just sand, right? So just put a big title. So this is another way I like to use, like when you have really big die cuts or something like that, that will come in the packages. This is a really fun and impactful way to use those. So I do tend to do this a lot in mostly travel albums and smaller mini albums. However, recently we took a cruise and I decided to do a 12 by 12 album, and the photos were amazing. We went to Alaska and it was just, everything was gorgeous. We had the best weather, and I just knew that I had to print some of these photos really big. And so I did some persnickety prints, which these are 12 by 12 prints. So like a full scrapbook page size print. But I knew when I was framing the photo that I wanted to do this. And so it's not like I have a list of photos or anything, but I do suggest that you maybe kind of train yourself or be thoughtful in the photos that you take. You can stop here and take a picture of this boat, and you can zoom in on that boat and it will look lovely. If you have a photographer's eye and you want to, you know, formulate it some way. So I think there's a rule of thirds. I'm not even sure about all of that, but I have a scrapbooker's eye, and I know, well, if I frame the photo like this and I give myself a lot of sky or a lot of water one way or the other, then I'm going to have negative space to fill in with embellishments. So that's the way that I think of taking photos when we are on a trip or something. So this is actually the title page of, but we are going to create a photo with negative space. So I have another one of those 12 by 12 photos from the cruise. But I noticed this tile piece when you come down off of the steps from the slide, and it's so fun, but it says caution. And immediately I was like, that's fun, because I'm going to say, play off of that title, caution, fun ahead, cruise ahead, something like that. So we're going to work with this one today. I framed my photo. You can even see my reflection there. You could use an app to remove that if you wanted to, but I didn't. But I tried to, like, you know, center it up really well and then give myself plenty of negative space outside of what we want to show. And we're going to build off of that and see what we get. So I've been using these Tim Holtz ticket stamps a lot in this album, so I'm going to use those, but I'm going to use these brighter colors too that come from this Pebbles Fun in the Sun Thickers collection. And the title is going to say, Caution, Fun Vacation Adventure Ahead. Just combining three of those words and then taking the Whatevs collection letters and just picking up the colorful ones to make the word ahead. So I just decided to use those similar colors and ink up some of those ticket stamps. I'm going to do 3 of them. I'm going to do, this one is going to be 3 different blue colors. So I'm kind of taking the blue out of the tiles in the photo. And I will die cut them too because I have the dies for the stamp set. And let's see, next I'm going to do just a green one because there was one random green letter from the Whatevs collection. So I want to make sure to bring cohesion to my page and make sure that there's no random green, you know, like there's a few separate things that are green. Same for this orange. Some of the embellishments I've pulled out right there, you can see on the right, are orange. And so I put some orange ink down and then I erased the top and bottom and added in some yellow. So you kind of have just a multi-tone. Now I'm going to use my Waffle Flower Crafts blending brushes just to add the same color ink around the edges of each ticket. Kind of make them look a little distressed and no stark white edges. So I'm happy with how that looks. And I'm going to combine it with other labels and tickets and things from mostly 49 Market. That's what I was showing you. 49 Market, their ephemera packs are so huge that there's always going to be something. I have enough of them in pretty much every color of the rainbow. I'm going to be able to pull out something. So although that top ticket is from a Pink Fresh Studio travel collection. And then the rest of the little labels are 49 Market, like I was saying. So I'm just going to kind of put them all together how I think that they would look nice as an anchor for this title. And so none of the colors are like touching too bad. Well, the adventure is touching the pink one, but I mean, it still lets it show, right? It doesn't blend in. So I'm just going to position them kind of a little bit going from left to right. And so it's kind of, you're reading it caution and then all the way down like little stair steps. And I'm just using this to help me lift up some edges. I like to tuck everything. I want all of the pieces to touch and just kind of making a little layered collage kind of thing. This page came together so quickly and I just think it's so fun to do this as a use of negative space. So now we're going to stick down the thickers now that we have the anchored layered tickets and labels together. And then just add a couple of embellishments. I pulled out a few. You can see the die cut ephemera on the right. I also have a few sticker sheets pulled out. So I'm just going to add like 3 things at the end and call it a day, really. These are in page protector. So I'm not going to add any interactive elements or anything to turn the photo with because again, like it's going to be in a page protector. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this discussion of negative space on this Technique Tuesday. I hope you're inspired to, if you don't already, take photos with your scrapbooking in mind and leave some room for embellishments directly on your photos because it's a super fun thing to do. Check out anything else you would be interested in on my channel. And you can also see this layout in the gallery at ACOT and see all of the products that were used. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.